One day in Lodi, a man in a worn-out wheelchair tried to cross the railway tracks but got stuck. With a train coming, a police officer had to deal with one of the toughest situations of her career. What she did next is amazing. Early in the morning, Mark and Amber Orias enjoyed a quiet moment before the day's business. They sat at their simple kitchen table with coffee, and Mark's worry was clear. "Amber, every time you leave, I'm afraid you won't come back," Mark said softly, not looking at her. Amber reached for his hand. "I know, Mark. This job is more than just a job to me. It's who I am. I was meant to do this." Mark sighed, still scared, but also proud. "I see it, Amber, how you talk about your work and the people you help. It's clear you were made for this, but it doesn't make it easier for me." Amber squeezed his hand tighter. "I promise to always be careful, to make sure I come back to you. That's a promise." With a heavy heart but a determined spirit, Amber left for the gym, the early morning air crisp against her skin. The gym was her sanctuary, a place to build the strength she needed for the job she loved. Today, like every other day, she was the first to arrive, greeting the dawn with weights in hand. By the time her colleagues arrived, Amber was already deep into her routine, the clanking of weights a familiar backdrop to her surroundings. "Amber, you're going to start lifting the equipment itself soon. There's nothing here heavy enough for you," joked Officer Mike Jensen as he entered, a smirk playing on his lips. Amber set down the barbell, wiping sweat from her brow. "Please, Jensen, the day I can't find a challenge here is the day I take up bench pressing cars for fun." Laughter echoed through the gym. "Yeah, but can you lift as much as Amber?" teased Officer Sarah Lynn, nodding towards Jensen with a grin. Jensen scoffed, feigning insult. "I'll have you know, Lynn, I was lifting half this much when Amber was still in the academy. She just caught up fast." Amber laughed, stepping up for another set. "Caught up and surpassed, you mean? Come on, Jensen. Let's see you try this weight." The banter continued, each officer challenging the other, their competitive spirits buoyed by mutual respect and admiration. They teased, pushed, and lifted each other up, literally and figuratively. As their session wound down, they gathered their gear, the mood shifting to one of readiness. "All right, team, what kind of insanity are we facing today?" Amber asked, a smile still playing on her lips, but her eyes steeling for the day ahead. "Whatever it is, we'll handle it. We always do," Jensen replied, clapping Amber on the shoulder. The officers finished their morning routine, which set a positive tone for the day. Amber, feeling strong and energized, went to the locker room, reflecting on Mark's concerns. The gym and camaraderie reminded her why she was dedicated to her job. She was strong for herself and those who needed her. In her uniform, Amber felt the weight of her badge and double-checked her gear before heading to her patrol car, ready for the day's uncertainties. Meanwhile, William's life was marked by routine and weariness. His worn apartment and unreliable wheelchair reflected his struggles. As he moved through his apartment, he met Frank, the landlord, who, despite his stern demeanor, showed a bit of respect for the veteran. "Morning, William. You be careful out there," Frank warned, eyeing the dilapidated wheelchair with a mix of concern and skepticism. "One of these days that thing's going to get stuck, and you'll find yourself in a world of trouble." William, with a resilience forged in combat, met Frank's warning with a wry smile. "Frank, I've seen trouble. I've been in war. This old chair's got nothing on that." Frank shook his head, a reluctant smile breaking through. "Just don't say I didn't warn you," he muttered, watching William wheel away into the daylight. The fresh air was a balm to William's spirit, the warmth of the sun a stark contrast to the chill of his apartment. His freedom was short-lived, however, as he came upon a section of sidewalk closed for construction. A construction worker, spotting William, called out, "Sorry, sir, you'll have to go back around. It's a full mile detour, but there's no safe way through here." William's stubbornness, which had often helped him, now led him into danger. A detour? "No way. I'll cross the tracks. It's quicker," he decided, ignoring warnings. His failing wheelchair soon trapped him on the tracks, with the approaching train sound growing louder and more frightening. As he realized he was stuck, fear overwhelmed him. His wheelchair, once a symbol of his independence, betrayed him at the worst moment. Memories of his life, his youthful ambition, pride in serving his country, the pain of war, and the explosion that took his ability to walk rushed through his mind. Facing the train, regret and fear took over. He thought of missed opportunities, neglected relationships, and the simple joys of life. With the train's roar growing louder, he frantically searched for a way out, his heart racing with a desperate hope for salvation. He wasn't ready to die. Despite his fear, he held onto a sliver of hope, hoping for a miracle to save him from this dire situation. "Somebody help!" he screamed, the oncoming train's warning bells echoing his panic. Officer Amber Orias, witnessing the scene unfold from her patrol car, felt a surge of adrenaline. With no time to spare, she radioed dispatch, her voice steady despite the unfolding emergency. "Dispatch, this is Officer Orias. I have a man in a wheelchair stuck on the tracks near the construction site. I need backup and medical on standby. I'm going to assist." Without waiting for a response, Amber dashed towards William, her years of training and physical preparation never more critical than this moment. "Hold on, I'm coming," she shouted, her voice a beacon of hope in the chaos. William, seeing Amber's approach, felt a flicker of hope amidst the terror. "I'm stuck," he yelled back, desperation lacing his words. Amber, with no time to lose, reached William, her strength paramount as she pulled him from the wheelchair. "I've got you," she exclaimed. With a Herculean effort, she yanked William from the wheelchair, pulling him to safety mere seconds before the train demolished the chair into twisted metal. Both fell to the ground, Amber quickly regaining her footing and pulling William further away from the tracks. They stumbled to safety, her quick actions and William's trust in her combining to avoid tragedy. Panting and shaking, they shared a moment of profound relief and gratitude. "Are you okay?" Amber asked, her concern palpable as she examined William for injuries. After pulling William from the track, Amber quickly realized the gravity of the situation. William, initially unconscious, jolted awake with a scream of agony. "My leg hurts so bad," he yelled, panic and pain intertwining in his voice. Amber, her heart racing, grabbed her radio with trembling hands. "Dispatch, this is Officer Orias. I need an ambulance at the train tracks near the construction site immediately. We have a man seriously injured by the train, possible leg injury. He's in a lot of pain and bleeding," she reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Copy that, Officer Orias. Ambulance on the way. Can you provide any more details about the injury?" The dispatcher responded, urgency clear in their voice. "Looks like the train hit his leg. He's conscious, but in a lot of pain. I'm applying pressure to stop the bleeding," Amber explained, her training kicking in as she fashioned a makeshift bandage from her emergency kit. William, writhing in pain, protested as Amber applied pressure to the wound. "It hurts. Please stop." "I know, William, it hurts, but I have to do this to stop the bleeding. You'll be okay," Amber said, trying to calm him. Time felt endless until the paramedics arrived and took over with professionalism. "We've got it from here, officer." "Thanks for your quick action," one paramedic said as they loaded William into the ambulance. Amber watched it leave, feeling both relief and worry. Later, she learned from her superiors that William survived surgery and would recover fully thanks to her quick response. That evening, Amber and Mark watched the news. Amber's rescue was featured, with a reporter praising her bravery. The police chief appeared, commending Amber's strength and fitness, noting that her physical strength was crucial. Mark, amazed, told Amber, "You saved that man's life. I'm proud of you, but I worry about you too. What if you've been hurt?" Amber squeezed his hand. "I know, Mark. It's scary, but saving lives is why I do this. I'm okay, and so is William. That's what matters." Mark smiled, mixing pride with concern. "I'm proud of you. William's lucky you were there, and that you're so strong," he said with a chuckle. Amber laughed. "Looks like all those gym hours paid off." As they settled in for the night, Amber reflected on the day's events. Her role as a protector was clear, bringing both pride and a deep sense of responsibility.